on the topic of equivalent ratios. Okay, if we are asked to simplify, in this case 3 over 8 is to 9 over 4. Okay, how do we go about doing that? Let me choose a person. Okay, I want Lucas up and Faith. You are beside Lucas up. Okay, yes. Faith, can you tell me how do we simplify 3 over 8 is to 9 over 4? How do we simplify? Do you remember? Okay, and your objective of doing that is? Sorry? Your objective is to make the denominator the same, is it? Okay, so what Faith says is that take 3 times 4 and then after that 8 times 9 in order to make the denominator the same. Okay, and then after we can have the quantity to be simplified further. But what is it that I covered in the video? What can we do in a much easier and faster way? We know that when it comes to ratio, okay, it can be re-expressed as a fraction, right? Okay, so we can see as 3 over 8 over 9 over 4. Agree? Okay, so that means that 3 over 8 divided by 9 over 4, so I can press into my calculator, okay, for 3 over 8 divided by 9 over 4, so it's a very fast process that you can use to press into your calculator, which is that you have a calculator with you. 7 out of 27 out of 32. Okay, so pressing your calculator, you will get 27 out of 32. Okay, which then can help us to actually translate into our ratio form, which is 27 is to 32. Okay, so a much quicker method, okay, to use our calculator to get this answer by simplifying our ratios. Okay. Questions? Is it correct? I'm relying on you to give me the correct answer. 3 over 8 divided by 9 over 4. Say 1 over 6. What do you press your calculator? 1 over 6, right? Okay, answer is 1 over 6, right? Okay, then, where was I? Okay, the same can apply for your decimal. So the same question, exercise 9A question 2, but part C in this case, when I want to simplify a ratio with decimal quantities. Okay, 0.45 is to 0.85, the equivalent form. I'm saying equivalent and not saying that they are equal. Okay, so ratios are not equal to fractions, but they are equivalent. That's why I do not use equal sign over here. So this is a rough working. Okay, that's why I wrote it in red. Okay, formally what you write in your working itself, you write what? Written in blue. Okay, so 0.45 is to 0.85. When I want to simplify this ratio, using my calculator, I can press into my calculator 0.45 divided by 0.85. Okay, and what do we get in our calculator? Can I get an answer for someone? Huh? 9 out of 7. We all get 9 out of 7. 9 out of 7. 9 out of 17. Okay, so we see a fraction of 9 out of 17. Hence our fractional form is very important when I'm trying to solve questions, okay, such as exercise 9A question 4A. Okay, maybe I'll just question 4. So if you're given a question, A is 400 equals to 6 is to 25. Okay, when written in a ratio form, we do see that it can be a little bit challenging to solve it in an algebraic manner. Okay, because I cannot, okay, in a ratio form say take 400 multiply to the right side because it is a ratio, alright? But I know that I can actually do multiplication things over to the other side of the equation if it is in the equation form, and that could be done so if I recognize it as fractions. Okay, so I can re-express the ratio form into a fraction form, seeing it as A over 400 equals to 6 over 25. Okay, then this is A divided by 400. In understanding how we solve equations, I can take divide 400 over to the right side by doing multiplication of 400. Right? Okay. So by doing so, then I can press my calculator for 6 divided by 25 times 400, and we get 96. Okay, and easily solve that it is equals to 6. Okay, so I did not have to, let's say, change my 400 to be of the same quantity of 75. Okay, and then I'll then figure out what is 6 going to be. Okay. to what we did for A over here. I multiply by 400 over because my A is just here. But in this case, okay, maybe I erase, okay, this is a single fraction, right? It's a single fraction, right? What do we learn? When a single fraction equals to single fraction, what can we do? Cross multiply, right? So how will that look like? Yes. So that should be what we do, right? In order for us to find out the value of B. Okay? If you can understand or be able to tell me why you times 2 just now, let me know after class. Okay? Thank you very much. Okay? So 16 times 3B equals to 8 times 9. Okay, will be what we get when we do our cross multiplication. Agree? Okay, then after 16 times 3, we will get 48, right? And then 8 times 9, that's 72. Okay, but our objective is to find out the value of B, and that will be to take 72 divided by 48. Right? Because this is 48 times B. Okay? And therefore, we will be able to get 72 divided by 48 is 3 over 2, or 1.5. Okay? Any questions? On page 46. By the way, sorry, before I move on, right, our point system, can we restart for this semester? I already took a photo of this. Okay, so I will award accordingly. Okay, just say yesterday I forgot to bring, rather this morning I forgot to pack my prizes into my bag. Okay, so let's start again for this semester. You want to start at the base of 100 or a base of 0? What's your preference? 0, 100, how many of you want to start at the base of 0? Who wants to start at the base of 100? Okay, I see a majority of hands of 10,000 and 100. Okay, so let's start at the base of 100. Okay, then just now Faith answer the question, right? And Evan also answer the question. Okay, so now, attend to this exercise 9A question 13A. We are given an equation, with fractions in it, and we want to find the ratio of x to y. Okay, so the first thing that we must understand is that the equivalent form of ratio is a fractional form of x over y. Okay, so from here, if I'm able to figure out what is x over y, I will then be able to know what is x is to y. Agree? So in this case, given this complicated looking equation here, how do we actually arrive at x over y? That is the main question. Okay, so we see that x is already on a numerator, of a fraction, but my y is on the other side. So I need to figure a way to bring my y over to this side and in the denominator, and then all my other numbers to the other side. Okay, so it is similar to what we have learned in our linear equations, how we bring things over. Okay, so first of all, this is 2 times x divided by 5. If I want to bring the number 2 and the number 5 over to the right side, I need to apply the opposite operation, right? So to have my single x over here, the original 3y over 8, my 5 when I bring over, I will times a 5. And then this 2, if I bring it over, because this is a 2 times x, I will divide by 2. Agree? So this is how I bring the numbers 2 and 5 over to the other side of the equation. Okay? Then, for my y over here, it is actually 3 times y. Okay, so there is this multiplication over here. So to bring my y over to the left-hand side, which is what I need, I will actually divide by y. So this is how I bring my y from the right to the left. Okay, so I'm trying to do all this process into this one step over here. Okay, any questions about how I move the numbers and the algebra and the variables around? Yeah? So, therefore, 3 over 8 times 5 over 2, that we can press our calculator and we will get 15 over 16. So, x over y equals to 15 over 16. Therefore, we must write our concluding statement in ratio form. Okay, x is to y equals to 15 is to 16. Worried that you're giving me a lot of blank spaces today this morning? Or is it you haven't warm up yet? Or you forgot whatever you did in SRS lesson? You don't understand SRS? Don't understand this part? How many of you don't understand this part? So then you want to ask question. What do you not understand, Kelly? Huh? You raise hand, right? You're feeling right? Then you raise hand for what?
I thought wrongly, sorry.
Huh?
I thought wrong.
You got it wrong?
No, I heard.
Oh, you heard wrongly. Oh, so you understand. Then Zayden, eh? What do you not understand? Yes, Zayden. You also heard wrong. Okay, then am I right? Everybody else correctly that you understand? Yeah? Okay, you make me feel very insecure, you know? Okay, so, okay, I know that you asked more about the, what's that called? Ratios in lower context, as well as the topic on 3 quantities. Okay? Maybe let me just do one question on 3 quantities. Okay. Oops. What's the title called? Okay. Sorry, just trying to find the ratios involving 3 quantities. Okay, but then I saw your exercise responses, it seemed okay. So maybe just in case, let's just look at exercise 9A question 6. So given that A is to B is to C equals to 75 is to 120 and is to 132, and we want to simplify this ratio given to us. Okay, so in this case for 3 quantities ratio we cannot actually use our calculator. Okay, because a fraction only has numerator and denominator, only 2 quantities. So therefore there's no way for us to actually change the 3 quantity ratio using our calculator. Okay. But usually what is given to you is much simpler and manageable for us to simplify. So in this case, given 75, 120 and 132, what is the common factor that all these numbers have? What can it all be divided by? Can it all be divided by 2? 4. 75 can divide by 4, right? Divide by 3, right? Okay, so 75 divided by 3, what do we get? 45, 25, right? Okay, and then 120 divided by 3 is 40. 132 divided by 3 is 44. Okay, so at 25, 40, and 44, is there still a common factor throughout all these three numbers? Any more? Don't have, right? Okay, although between two of them there is okay, but then the thing is amongst all three of them there isn't anymore. So this will then be the simplified form for the ratio. Okay, then looking at part 2. Okay, we want to find out what is B is to A. So we will then refer to our answer over here in part I. So B is to A will mean 40 is to 25. But 40 is to 25, is it the simplest form already? No, right? So we need to simplify it further by dividing by 5. And we'll get it is to 5. Okay? And then in part 3, we want to find out what is B is to C. So using that, we will have 40 is to 44, and we can consider dividing by 4 first. Okay, and we get 10 is to 11. Okay, questions? Okay, for your ratios in real world context, right? I want to actually go through it after we have I assigned you the homework. Okay. However, I want to just complete this question that I've given to you on SLS at the very end. Okay. Let me just erase the whiteboard. Can I erase this already? Okay, it says that Bernard and Schufen, just to refresh your memory about it, okay, are competing in an election to be president of the student council. The ratio of the votes that Bernard receives to that of Schufen from class A is 1:2, and then from class B, the ratio is actually 3:2. Bernard claims that neither he nor Schufen wins the election because the ratio of the votes he receives to that Schufen is 4:4. Okay, so the first thing we question is how did Bernard actually arrive at 4:4? Okay, and knowing that will help us to go about answering the question whether it's incorrect or not. Okay, so how do you think he got 4:4? Yes, Kelly. He add 1 to 3 and 2 to 2, right? Okay, and then after arrive at this 4:4. But the thing is that correct in the first place? Okay, I could tell from your responses that many of you said that it isn't correct. So looking at your responses here, okay, I get very high quality answers from you all, by the way. Okay, people who wrote out like that, okay, and then give me very long explanations. Right? I think that generally all of you have the idea. Okay, and I looked through it the other day. Okay, all of you said no lah, which is great. Okay, that you know that we cannot do that. Okay, but how do we actually write our answer in a more concise manner? Okay, I'm a bit concerned that some of your answers, for example, like this one, okay, she says that the base origin number, okay, so the percentage is different. While no is actually correct, the explanation isn't quite correct. Because in this case, we're talking about ratios. Okay, so there isn't a base to talk about. Unlike percentage we have a base, right? Our 100% as a base itself. Okay, but in this case there isn't a base, so the use of terms isn't actually correct. Okay, so likewise, same rule also talk about having a different base. Okay, so we need to be more precise, okay, and provide some clarity. So to answer the question, I'm going to provide you with the answer. Okay, so this is your exercise 9A question 23. Okay, so answer is that no. We need to give clarity to the idea of base, and in this case, we're talking about the number of voters in the respective classes. Okay, so we cannot loosely use the word base. And what this base we're talking about, okay, which is the number of voters in the respective classes, is actually unknown in the question. And a result of it being unknown is that we are unable to determine the number of votes received. Okay. So maybe just looking across Hansheng and also Xingru's response, right? Okay, they talk about how the class has different number of people. First of all, the question did not say whether they have same number of people or different number of people. So we cannot make that claim. Okay? So we cannot say and insist that there must be different number of people. Okay? So we cannot make an assumption for that. Okay? So that's why for Xingru and Hansheng's answer, it wouldn't be correct. Okay? A very clear answer here. Okay, saying that Bernard is incorrect as he does not know the total number of students in each class, so he can't come to a conclusion saying that they both have the same amount of votes. Okay, so I would be able to kind of accept this answer. Okay. Okay, so likewise, Yi and then Emmanuel also talking about different number of students. It may not be that good an answer. Okay. So long as the answer makes the claim that there is total different number of students, okay, that would not be acceptable. Okay. Alright. So that wraps up our ratio topic. Okay, and with that, homework, okay, for our this chapter, exercise 9A. Okay, textbook page 45 to 46. Okay, 45 to 47. One asks you to do question A, B, 11D, form A and C, again B, 14, 15, 18 and 19. When shall this be due? It shall be due on next Tuesday. How about that? Okay. Okay, because tomorrow is Oh, okay, fine. The numeration. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to 9.2. I sense the joy that the homework is due next Tuesday, but it may also mean that there will be more homework if I finish 9.2 by tomorrow. Okay?